Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki
The following is a class on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 30th, given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on 9th November 1972 in Vrindavan.
Translation. In the beginning of the material creation, the Absolute Lord, in His own transcendental position, created the energies of cause and effect by His own internal energy.
Saividam sasatyagre bhagavanatumaya sadasat rupaya chasu gunomaya aguno viho. So, here is the information of creation. The creation is from a person, not from the impersonal feature of the Absolute Soul. Creation, there must be brain. Otherwise, how there is question of creation? We are part and parcel of Krishna. We have also creative power. So, as soon as there is question of creative power, there must be a brain behind the creation, and brain means a person. Creation cannot be possible from void or impersonality. We have several times discussed this point, that the government, this word appears to be impersonal, but actually behind the government there is a person, the president or the king, like that. So, this creation, cosmic manifestation, is possible through the creative power of the Supreme Person. Therefore, God cannot be impersonal. Impersonal feature is one of the manifestation of God. God must be a person. This is the confusion. Saiva idam, this cosmic manifestation was created. In another place it is said, Ahameva asam agre. Before creation, there was God, Krishna. And when this material creation will be finished, he will remain. Therefore, Krishna or God is not one of these created, material created things. That is admitted even by the stone testing personalist Shankaracharya, Narayana Para Abhaktya, Bhakta, this Mahatattva, from which this material cosmic manifestation is there, but Narayana Para, Narayana is above. That means above this creation. Narayana or Krishna is not one of the products of this creation. Just like our existence, we are one of the products of this creation. So Narayana or Krishna is not one of the products of this material creation. Therefore, it is to be understood that Krishna's body is not material. But the Mayavadi philosophers, they think like that Krishna is God, but he has accepted a material body. This is Mayavadi philosophy. But how Krishna can accept a material body? Because he existed before the material creation. Another consideration is that even if we accept a material body, that is not material for him. That is also spiritual. It appears to us as material, but that is spiritual. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Sriyate. He has got multi-energy, and because he is spirit, complete spirit, therefore his energies are also spiritual. Shakti, Shaktimato Avheda. There cannot be any distinction between the powerful and the power. So here it is clearly said that Saivedam Satajjani Bhagavan Atmamaya. Bhagavan created by his energy. It is not that Bhagavan is finished after this creation. The Mayavad philosophy is that everything is God, therefore there is no separate existence of God. That is impersonalism. But here it is said that Bhagavan Atma Maya, he created this cosmic manifestation by his energy. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishya. His full energy, even if it is taken away from him, is still he is full, he is complete. He is not exhausted. Sai Vedam Sasajjadri Bhagavan Atmayam Sadasabhupaya. The Maya is displayed, Maya means energy, that is displayed in two ways, material and spiritual. Material is asat and spiritual is sat. Asat means which does not exist permanently. Bhutka bhutka pradiyate. It is created, again it is annihilated. Therefore, it is called sometimes asad. Asad means not false, but not permanent. Uh, So, this material creation is also manifestation of Krishna's energy, and there is another creation that is not creation, that is always existing, that is the spiritual world, Sanatana. Parastasmat tu bhava anya bhakta sanatana. That manifestation, that is internal potency. This is external potency. This material world is manifestation of the external potency of Krishna, whereas the spiritual world is the manifestation of his internal potency. Unfortunately, the modern advancement of education has no information what is that spiritual world. Yet they have no information. They are concerned with this material world. That is also not perfect. But there is spiritual world. Jadvatyana nivartanti tadhama paramam mama. Krishna says there is uh, another manifestation of his internal potency that is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Here, in this material world means it is not eternal, not blissful, and not full of knowledge. This is material. In the Vishnu Puran, he says, avidya karmasanga anya titya shaktirisha. This manifestation of energy is full of ignorance. The nature of this world is called darkness, tamasi ma, jyotirgama. So, sadasat, rupaya chasu, guna, gunamai aguna. Krishna, when he is called aguna or nirguna, that means he is not affected by these material modes of nature, above material nature. We are affected, we living entities, we are affected by the material modes of nature, Satagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. But Krishna is not affected. That is Krishna, difference between Krishna and ourselves. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is another instance when Arjuna asked Krishna, Krishna said, Imam Divasati Yogam Praptaman Aham Abhay. Krishna said that, first of all, I narrated this yoga system of Bhagavad Gita to the sun god. So, in order to clear this matter, Arjuna inquired from him, my dear Krishna, we are born very recently. How is that you narrated this yoga system to the sun god? Arjuna, of course, knew everything, but in order to clear our doubts, he raised this question. And Krishna answered that you were also present at that time, but you have forgotten, I have not forgotten. So this is another proof that Krishna's body does not change. Krishna, when he comes, when he appears, he comes in his original spiritual body. Therefore, Krishna has a word that avajananti mana mula. The Mayavadi philosophers who think that Krishna has accepted a material body, they are described as mula. They have no sufficient knowledge. Parang bhava avajananti. They do not know what is the power behind Krishna. So, Krishna creates. Before creation, aham adihi divanam, In the Bhagavad Gita, we say. Devanam, first of all, Brahma was created, then other great sages were created, then other demigods were created. But Krishna says, Aham Adihi Devana. Therefore, he is not a created being of this material world. We have to consider in that. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Then Vedanta Sutta Janmadasya Jata. So Krishna is the origin of everything. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Iti Matya Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Saman. One who knows Krishna, the Supreme, Adi Purusam, Adyam Purana Purusam, Navajovanancha. His knowledge is perfect. If one thinks Krishna as one of the products of this material world, then his knowledge is imperfect. He is still in the darkness of this material creation. So, those who are in the darkness of this material creation, they consider Krishna as one of the human beings. As a great scholar says, when Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakta mad jajimag namaskuru, the scholar points out that it is not to Krishna, it is up to the inner soul which is within Krishna. There is no within and without Krishna. Krishna, as we have got difference between within and without, Krishna has no such difference. And though one who does not know, they think, such person thinks Krishna as one of the product of material creation. That is not the fact. Saividam sasajyagri bhagavan atmamaya sadasat rupaya chasu gunavai aguna vibhu. Vibhu. He is vibhu. We are anu. That is the difference. Krishna is vibhu, unlimited. We are limited. So we cannot be equal to Krishna. The Mahabharata philosophy that there is no difference between Jiva and Bhagavan. There is sufficient difference. He is Vibhu, we are Anu. Anoraniyang Mahato Maya. He is the greatest of the great. And he is the smallest also. So, Krishna cannot be equal or no. Nobody can be equal to Krishna or greater than Krishna. Krishna is asamartha. Nobody can be equal or greater than Krishna. Everyone is below Krishna. That is explained in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita. Ekola Ishara Krishna Arsa Brita. Only Krishna is the Supreme Master. Ekola Ishara Krishna Arsa Brita. Shivavanchi Nutam. Even great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they also subordinate to Krishna. They offer their obeisances to Krishna. Shivavanchi Nutam. And the Brahma Samhita, it is conferred by Brahma, Ishara Parama Krishna. Ishara, everyone can be called Ishara. Ishara means control. So, we are also controller of something. A businessman is controller of his business. So, I am controller of my disciples. There are so many controllers. So, in that sense, everyone is Ishara, in the sense of controller. But Lord Brahma says, Ishara Parama Krishna, the supreme controller. The supreme controller is Krishna. What is the difference between supreme control and ordinary control? Ordinary controller means that he controls and he is controlled, both. We are controller, but nobody can say that I am not controlled. We are controlled. But Krishna, he is controller but not controlled. That is the difference between Krishna and ourselves. So we cannot be equal with Krishna. We are controlled. I think in Glasgow, one boy, he was presenting himself as God. So I asked him whether you are controlled or not controlled. He admitted, yes, I am controlled. Then how you can be God? God is never controlled. God is controller, but he is not controlled. So if we take ourselves as so many samples of God, that is all right. But we are control God, not controller God. So that statement of Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Ekola Ishvara Krishna, আর সব বৃত্ত যারে যেইছে নাচায় সে তেইছে করে নৃত্য. We are controlled in every moment. So Krishna is Vibhu, we are on. Never consider that we are equal to Krishna. That is a great offense. That is called Maya. That is the last layer of Maya. Actually, we have come to this material world to become one with Krishna. We thought that we shall become like Krishna. Krishna ভুলিয়া জীব ভগবান চাকর পাশেতে মায়া তারে জাপট. Dear Paul, because we wanted
Hare Krishna, we are sorry about some technical problems, so let's review the class so far among ourselves. You can connect.
Complete with Krishna. Therefore, we are put into this material world. Mayakare Japodiyana. And here in this material world, it is going on. Everyone is trying to become Krishna. That is Maya. Everyone. First of all, let me become a big man, then let me become the minister, let me become the president. In this way, when everything fails, then let me march into the existence of God, that may let me become God. This is going. This is material, struggle for existence. Everyone is trying to become Krishna. But our philosophy is different. We do not want to become Krishna. We are trying to become Krishna's servant. That is the difference between Mahabharata philosophy and Vaishnava philosophy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us how to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Gopi Bhaktu Padakamalayo Daso Daso Dasanu Das. The one, the person who is the lowest of the servant of Krishna is first class Vaishnava. He is first class Vaishnava. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore teaches us Tiragapi Sunichena Karorapi Sahisna Omanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. This is the Vaishnava philosophy. We are trying to be servant. We don't identify with anything material. As soon as we identify with anything material, we become under the clutches of Maya. Krishna Bhuya, because as soon as I forget my relationship with Krishna, I am eternal servant of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jiver Swarupaya Nitya Krishna Das. That is the eternal identification of the living entity, to remain servant of Krishna. As soon as we forget it, that is Maya. As soon as I think that I am Krishna, that is Maya. That Maya means this Maya illusion can be rejected by advancement of knowledge. That is Jnani. Jnani means this is real knowledge, to understand his real position. This is not knowledge that I am equal to God, I am God. This is not knowledge. I am God, but I am sample of God. But the Supreme God is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Arjuna accepted Krishna like that. Parabrahma, Paramdhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhava. Parabrahma. We may become Brahma. We are Brahma. There is no question of becoming. Aham Brahmasmi, this is not very difficult to understand because I am spirit soul. So I am Brahma. That's all right. But I am not Parabrahma. That is ignorance. I am not Parabrahma. If anyone thinks that he is Parabrahma, then it must be understood that he is under the clutches of Maya. That is this last layer of Maya. Therefore, Krishna says that when one actually becomes knowledgeable, cognizant, he surrenders. Gaunam Janonam Antik Janaman Manus Prabandha. That is real knowledge. So, advancement of knowledge means to understand his real position and act accordingly. That is knowledge. That is perfection of knowledge. Simply to understand that I am Brahma is not perfection. You have to still go further. Simply to understand that I am Brahma, I have now realized myself as Brahma. That is not perfection of knowledge. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. one who becomes realized soul, self-realized, he becomes immediately perfectly joyful because our all lamentation is due to our material identification. Sochati Kankha. Well, we are simply lamenting for our loss and we are simply hankering for some gain. This is material activities. Everyone is struggling to gain something which he does not possess and is lamenting for something which he has lost. But when he realizes himself that I have nothing to gain and nothing to lose, I have nothing to do in this material, that is called Brahma Bhuta. That is Brahma realization. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Na Sochati Napa. Samasarveshu Bhutis. At that time he realizes that all living entities, they are spirit soul. Pandita Samadarshina. That is equal vision. Not the bodily vision. So long we have got bodily vision, there cannot be any equality. That is not possible. When one sees only to the spiritual existence of our living entity, then there is question of seeing equal vision, universal brotherhood. That is possible. Not on the bodily platform. That is not possible. So, after acquiring this knowledge, life of devotional service begins. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Sojati Nakankati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Madhakti Lavati Para. That is it. And in that stage of devotional life, one can understand what is Krishna. Bhaktamava Vijanati Javan Jaschani Krishna. Tattva. That is tattva to understand. In another place it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad, Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. Unless one becomes jubilant, joyful, by executing devotional service, he cannot understand what is Krishna. It is not possible. So understand superficially Krishna, that he appeared in Mathura in his uncle's prison house. That is also nice. But one should try to understand Krishna in fact. That fact can be revealed by devotion and service. You cannot challenge Krishna. Krishna will reveal. Sevanmukhi jivado sameva spuratva. If we become Sevanmukhi, if we try to serve Krishna as eternal servant of Krishna, then Krishna will reveal himself what he is. You cannot understand Krishna by speculation, by mental speculation. That is not possible. Tata Sri Krishna Navadina Bhavid Brahayam Indriya. By sense perception you cannot understand Krishna. That is not possible. There are many versions of the saintly person. Just like Narottam Das Thakur said, Rupa Natho Pade Hoibe Aputi, Kobe Hamo Bujhavo Se Jugalapi. A saintly person, Acharya, like Narottam Das Thakur, he says that when I shall be very much eager to understand the path of the six Goswamis, Eichai Gosai Jar Karmui Da, we cannot understand Krishna unless we have submitted ourselves under the lotus feet of the six Goswamis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have to understand Krishna in this way. It is very difficult to understand Krishna, but by the grace of the Goswami, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, we can understand Krishna. Prasada Lesana Grihita Evahi Jati Tattam Nachana Egovi Chirangiti. Panthas, there are many Shastri evidences. Panthas Kuti Sadavasa Sampragama Vayura Thapi Manaso Manipangavana. So, By speculation we cannot understand Krishna. That is not possible. Oh. By mental speculation we cannot understand Krishna. We have to understand Krishna as Krishna says, or Krishna's devotee says, Goswami says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Then we can understand how this cosmic manifestation is created, who created, how it is created, everything will be clear. This is the beginning of such understanding. Saividam sasadhyagri bhagavanatmaya. Sadasat rupaya chasu gunamaya guno. So, Krishna is transcendental, his position is always transcendental, even though he appears before us, still he is transcendental. This is understanding of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So always when we hear a class given by Srila Prabhupada, we are making a summary at the end, and I ask you all to share what you remember in this class this morning. Who would like to start? Maybe what was the main point of the class?
That the material
the creation comes from a person.
Krishna is personal and not what the Maya
That everything is coming from an impersonal source.
Yes, so Srila Prabhupada established at the beginning, creation means a brain. There has to be a brain behind, and the brain behind the creation is Krishna. And if he is creating, he cannot be part of the creation. He cannot be part of the material energy. Therefore, Krishna has a spiritual body always, even if he comes in so many incarnations into this material world. Thank you for that.
Is beyond our material
Perception doesn't have a material qualities, even though he takes birth in
this material world, like Nirguna, what Prabhupada says.
Yes, Krishna is beyond the material perception, you know. He is actually in the spiritual world. And what did Srila Prabhupada say later on? How can we understand Krishna? He said, only through devotional service. Only through devotional service we come to the level that finally we can understand Krishna. But otherwise, we are covered by Maya. And in this regard also was interesting. He said, why did we come here?
Everyone came here to try to become a Krishna.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah, he said, you know, we came here to try to become Krishna, you know. We wanted to be first, establish ourselves, to be the minister, whatever the king, and come to the level of Krishna. But that's not the way to become Krishna. He says, the last snare of Maya is that then you think, I am God. But that's completely under the control of Maya. And what did he say? What is Maya? Maya is illusion. Yes. Anybody else?
Also like Prabhupada's point, he says, we are ordinary controllers. Ordinary controllers are who are also controlled by somebody else.
Yeah.
But the supreme controller is not controlled by anyone.
Yes. He said in Glasgow, somebody told him, I am God. And Srila Prabhupada asked him, are you controlled or you're not controlled? And the young man said, you know, I am controlled. He said, how can you be God if you are controlled? Thank you for that. What did he say about Sat and Asat? So first of all, Srila Prabhupada established the spiritual world. He said where everything is full of knowledge, bliss, and eternal. That's Sat. And Asat is something which is not permanent. So the spiritual world is permanent, but the material world we are in is Asat. It's not permanent. It exists, but it's not permanent. It has a beginning, it has an end. Therefore, Krishna is the creator, and at the end, we know when Lord Shiva is doing his dance, the whole destruction will happen. Please.
Also, he
talked about how realizing yourself as Brahman is incomplete unless you realize Krishna as well.
Yeah. Because we are part of the energy of Krishna, okay? Krishna exists in three levels. Brahman, his energy, the super soul in our heart, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, Krishna himself, you know. But just seeing the energy is not enough, you know, and it's not the full realization. Anybody else?
one other point was that
Krishna existed before the material creation, and he also exists after.
Yeah, because Krishna is eternal. And Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada also said, Krishna is always full, even if he was quoting Ishapanishad. Even if Krishna creates, it does not mean that he's not complete. Whatever he creates is complete, but he is still complete even after creation.
Yes, and part of that was he cited Shankaracharya, who, although he isn't generally considered a Mayavada philosopher, he also admits that Krishna is present before and after.
Yeah, and he said that Krishna is the controller. It says in other places, not a blade of grass is moving without Krishna's consent. So he's always the controller of all his creations. It's unbelievable for us, you know. There are millions of actually universes. In the millions of universes, there are trillions and trillions and trillions of living entities, but Krishna is controlling everything. We always had a Prabhupada disciple, he asked, how many are living in New Vrindavan? We said, yeah, about 300. He said, what about the cows? The cows in addition. And then what about the trees? What about the plants? What about the ants? What about the deers? So there are immense numbers of living entities just in the holy Dham of New Vrindavan. What to forget about the universe, one universe, and the millions of universes. But Krishna is so inconceivable, powerful, that he can control all entities. Any final comments? So the essence is what the class was, okay, Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the creator, Krishna is always spiritual. There is nothing behind him. And of course this goes against the modern philosophy. There was a big explosion and the whole creation was happening, you know. Out of nothing, something was happening. It's already unbelievable. If there is nothing, how can there be something, you know? But Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the creator, Krishna is the above everything. And Krishna always has a spiritual body. Because the Mayavadis, they say when Krishna appears in this world, in Vrindavan, later in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Lord Nishingadev, he has a material body when he comes to this world. But that's not correct. Krishna has always a spiritual body. Yeah. And the other topic is, our goal is to understand Krishna, but we can understand Krishna only through devotional service. So, dasa no dasa no dasa. The servants of the servants of the servants. He said that the highest Vaishnava is the last in the row of the servants. Very important point.
And many of these points are, or it's somewhat of a summary of the Sri Upanishad, what he was giving in this lecture.
Thank you. Anybody else before we close our class this morning? Thank you all for, please, yes.
To understand Krishna, we need to serve the Goswamis. We should know the Goswamis very well and understand their devotion to come into the devotional presence of the Lord. I think that was the most important point that I got.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, that was a really one of all that we said. You see, we have over there our 6 Goswamis: Rupa Sanatana, Jiva, Gopal Bhatta, Raghunath Bhatta, Das Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. So he said we can only come and understand Krishna through the mercy and through going through the 6 Goswamis. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, thank you all for attending. We will serve prasad in the prasadam hall behind all of you, and please join us for prasad. We are grateful that you visit the holy Dham of New Vrindavan. Unfortunately, the weather is not the best. We will actually have prayers to Lord Nrsingadev about 9:40. Please join us after prasad for our prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. And if the weather is better, you know, our cow barn and the cows are on the opposite side of the lodge. Our peacocks are between the two lakes. You will see the swans. They have a new nest. They're breeding along the lake on our side. And please explore the Holy Dham. Meet the Aarti 12:30, and we will serve lunch prasad 1:30 in the afternoon. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.